Hey everyone, Mr. MC here. This is a guide for round 17 of the Manufacturer series. Let's get this started. Brake before the curb on the left starts. Brake hard for a short moment, slowly ease off of the brakes and take your time slowly accelerating. You want to be a little careful here since the turn goes on for a little bit, so it's easy to catch a bit of the grass that is on the left. You can easily take this turn at full throttle. Just stick to the left side of the track as you'll want to brake when you reach this first right sign that is on the left. So you brake hard for a short while here, slowly ease off of the brakes. You will treat this turn similar to that of the first turn, where you just take your time slowly accelerating. For this turn, it is possible to take it full throttle, but in case you feel like you're starting to understeer a little bit, you can do a quick lift off of the throttle. Now bring yourself to the left and brake when the curb on the left starts. You brake hard for a short moment, quickly ease off the brakes, let the car rotate, and then start to accelerate. Now bring yourself to the right side of the track and brake before you reach the first left sign that is on the right. You'll be taking your time slowly easing off of the brakes. Just take your time slowly applying the throttle now, and then you can slowly start to fully accelerate. Now bring yourself to the left and all you want to do is just ease off of the throttle here. The end of the curb on the right is your apex, so that's when you should start to fully accelerate. Now bring yourself to the right and you want to start to brake when you reach this first apex right here. So you'll be braking hard for a short while, and once you're about to start turning in, that is when you start to ease off of the brakes. Just take your time slowly accelerating. Then bring yourself to the right side of the track. Then you want to just do a short lift off of the throttle when you make that turn. Eventually bring yourself to the left side of the track, and you want to brake pretty early here, so you'll be braking well before you reach the start of the curb that is on the left. You'll be braking hard for a while, and what you want to do is try to bring yourself to the right side of the track immediately after you make that turn. Now do some braking and throttle adjustments. Just try to get to that last turn as smoothly as possible, and you are good to go. Let's go ahead and talk about the strategies. For the qualifying session, you have 10 minutes to try to get a good qualifying time. What you want to do on your outlap is just take your time doing the outlap. Even though the tire wear rate is a ×6, which might seem low, it's actually pretty high for this combination. For reference, your racing soft tires on the Porsche Cayman GT4 will last you about 6 laps. So because of that, you just want to take your time just going through this track on your outlap, and then you can go all out once you start your actual flying laps, as your racing soft tires should be warmed up by then. As usual, slipstream will be pretty useful, so make sure that you can try to get some of that while maintaining a safe distance between yourself and the car ahead of you. If you do care about trying to get the absolute best times while having the absolute best tire conditions, you will want to eventually back out of the qualifying session or the qualifying stint. You can jump out of the qualifying stint once you do 1 or 2 qualifying laps, and then jump back in immediately after. If you do this, it should be possible to get up to 3 qualifying laps if you do the jump out and jumping back in strategy. But let's say you don't really care about that, you just want to get a bit of practice in while trying to get some good lap times in, then the 10-minute qualifying session will give you 4 chances to try to get a good qualifying time. For the race strategy, you want to do 2 stops. So let's say if you are starting in the front or in the middle, you can do 6 laps on the racing soft tires, go into the pit stop at the end of lap 6, then do another 6 laps on racing soft tires again, then go into the pit stop at the end of lap 12, and then switch on over to the racing medium tires, since that is the required tires, and you'll only do 1 lap on the racing medium tires. If you are starting in the back, you can switch up the order, so you can start on the racing medium tires, then at the end of lap 1 you can switch on over to the racing soft tires, and then make the switch to another set of racing soft tires at the end of lap 7. However, one thing that you do have to be careful with is the fuel. So the fuel is a ×5, so it's going to be a pretty big issue here. You want to try to not have to refuel at all, so you will have to resort to fuel saving, and the best way you can do that is by short shifting. When you have to shift to try to make the whole race on only one tank of fuel will be different between every car, but for the Porsche Cayman, you want to try to shift when the bar starts to fill up. So you'll be shifting pretty early for this car, so you don't have to refuel when you do your first or second pit stop. Slipstream will come in pretty handy, as that will help you save a little more fuel along the way. And let's say if you are behind someone and you don't intend on passing them anytime soon, then you can always adjust your fuel mapping to bring it to a leaner setting. That way you can save a little more fuel along the way as well. So in this clip here, this is of me shifting when the bar on the bottom of the screen starts to fill up. Something I do want to note is that for this car, the Porsche Cayman, you want to be a bit more careful if you start to shift when the bar is about to be 25% full, as you will risk running out of fuel at the end of the race. So that's why it's a bit of a better idea to shift when the bar starts to fill up. Also, when you start to approach a corner where you have to brake, you can go up a gear for a short moment. That way you can save a little more fuel along the way. And once again, you're just trying to save as much fuel as you can while maintaining a good pace. That way you do not have to refuel at all, and you'll still end up going a bit faster than those who do not fuel save and have to refuel at some point in the race. So this turn that we just went through, I went up to 6th gear for a bit just to try to save a bit more fuel. And for this turn, I also went up a gear for a short moment, once again trying to save as much fuel as I can. Now for this upcoming turn, you can take it at 5th gear, and you won't be using damage throttle anyway, so it'll help you save a bit more fuel along the way as well. Once you're getting ready to exit out of that corner, that is where you can go down to 4th gear, in the Cayman that is, and then start to fully accelerate. Then for this turn, you can once again go up to 6th gear, then eventually bring yourself down to 2nd gear. Then when you're going downhill, you can go up to 6th gear once again, and then start to brake pretty early. And once again, shifting at this point and doing this much short shifting works on the Cayman, but it might work a little differently for other cars. For some cars, you might be able to shift later on, and you might not have to do as much crazy short shifting as you have to do in the Cayman, but for others, you might have to do even more short shifting, or maybe even have to adjust the fuel mapping throughout the entire race. And here we're showing the pit stop sequence. This is just to change the tires. It lasts about 4 seconds, and the total pit stop time is at around 10 seconds. So this makes a 2-stop an even better strategy than doing a 1-stop or a no stop. Now for this clip, this is of me just going all out, not doing any fuel saving at all. So in the Porsche Cayman, you'll be able to do about 10 laps before you have to refuel. But because of the tire strategy, you'll be forced to refuel when you're about to begin your second racing soft stint. So because of that, if you decide to do, let's say, soft, medium, you have to refuel at lap 6. Or if you do soft, medium, soft, then you'll have to refuel at lap 7. And while you will be able to get some faster times, the amount of time that you'll be refueling, and this also depends on which car you're using and how their fuel economies are, the time you spend refueling will end up killing the momentum. So as you see here, I have to refuel quite a bit just to be able to finish the race without having to refuel once again, and I'll end up spending another 9 seconds in the pit stop. So because of that, that's going to kill the momentum from the going all out strategy, and the ones who do not refuel will end up doing better than those who do refuel. So that is pretty much it for this guide. Once again, this is a 2-stop race, so do 6 laps on racing soft tires, another 6 laps on racing soft tires, and 1 lap on the racing medium tires. But if you're starting in the back, do 1 lap on the racing medium tires, then save the racing soft stints for the next 2 stints. And you just want to try to save as much fuel as you can so you do not have to refuel at all. But anyways, that is all from me. I'm going to go ahead and sign off now. So this is Mr. MCA wishing you a good race, and I'll see you in the next video.